This looks terrible.
Hello, everyone. I am Mark.
And I am Trogdor.
Sure. Here's the format. Zach and I are both aspiring amateur filmmakers. We've watched a shit ton of movies. So for this, we each make each other watch a movie, and then we sit down and we talk about the movies that we made each other watch.
Quite literally made.
Yeah, right?
Clockwork Orange style.
with the eyes.
Stop it, please, I beg you!
All right, so Zach, your assignment for me, I think we should talk about this one first because it was a little bit more of a serious film.
I had you watch Stroszek, which is
I thought it was Stroszek.
Stroszek, which is a Werner Herzog fictional film.
That wasn't real?
Sabine war ein Frauenzimmer gar fromm und tugendhaft.
What was the main character's name? Bruno?
Yeah, well, we don't talk about Bruno.
Okay, so is that all you wanted?
No, it's... Oh, there goes the dog.
That's okay. Dog walking noises.
Yeah. I'll edit those out, that's funny.
Yeah. All that. Edit all that. Editing. Alright. So, I'll first say I like this movie. I've only seen it once.
Okay.
I meant to watch it again since I told you to watch it. But I think it's good. And it's very different from anything I've ever seen. And I think the end is probably top 10 endings of movies.
I was going to say, so I really didn't like this movie until the ending. And then once I saw the ending and I could really kind of picture the whole movie as a whole, I really like it. Because it has for me, it had a kind of interesting beginning.
Yeah. And
then the middle really dragged, and then
there's a little bit of drag in there.
Yeah, and I was checking my phone and stuff, and
Ja, komm her, komm. Ja, komm her. Kannst du aber schön sprechen, Beo.
Ja, mit dem Schiff nach New York und nach Florida.
Sie diente immer treu und...
Dies ist die Ballade von Stroszek, dem Straßensänger.
If you hadn't assigned this movie to me, I might have
turned it off,
and I haven't seen a lot of Werner Herzog. I know him mostly as the persona Werner Herzog that pops up in other media and how he can be in interviews and stuff like that.
When you're out in the countryside and you see chicken, try to look a chicken in the eye with great intensity. And the intensity of stupidity that is looking back at you is just amazing. By the way, it's very easy to hypnotize a chicken.
I've seen clips from his movies. I've seen parts of Grizzly Man.
Well, you probably see more documentary than you have fictional from him. Yeah.
Well, what's that one where the guy's on the raft and he's got the monkeys?
I think that's Fitzcarraldo.
Yeah.
So that's that's a fictional movie that everyone talks about from him, other than Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. Because
that sounds like a porno.
Do you know about it?
No.
Okay, let's get into that later. He literally filmed in reality these guys pulling a giant boat up a mountain. And
yes, okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and that's why everyone knows that one, is because they pulled a boat up a mountain. The way I feel about Werner Herzog is I think he's very good at telling stories in a way that no one else is telling them.
Yeah.
But I don't always think that it's good. But
Dog is back.
Yeah,
just out of camp.
Dog noises.
It's fine. I'm gonna edit those out.
Yeah, the sniffing. Lay down. I think that Stroszek is of what I've seen, I think that Stroszek is the best him doing fiction movie because it's different and it's good.
The opening was very interesting. I remember because I just watched this back on Saturday morning.
Oh, yeah, do your book report.
And I was a little hungover, but I was watching it and I'm like, all right, this is interesting. I liked the introduction. The prison people are I thought it was a prison at first. That was one thing. I thought he was being released from prison, and then I realized it was a rehab clinic. And
audible fart.
Was that you or the dog?
That was the dog.
Good one, Zach.
It was.
Yeah, I'm sure. Is this another dog?
Yeah,
the second dog is coming up.
The dogs are just going to be part of this.
Okay, yeah, they're part of the show, even though they're not really in frame.
We'll get a shot of the dog. You can get a shot of the dog, and you can put the dogs in there. We'll shoot
I'll
the
just
dog.
put it over
we'll
my
shoot the dogs
face.
later.
I'll just put a footage of the dog over my face right here.
Yeah.
He went to a rehab clinic or something like that because of rowdy behavior, being drunk. Mm-hmm. And I thought he was being released from prison because I'm so used to the American system of things where, like, if you're rowdy and you break the law while you're drunk, they don't send you to a rehab clinic. You go to jail.
Yeah, well, that's what the liberals want them to do.
Yeah, well, it said it was a drama comedy. So I keep waiting for it to be funny, and at first it's like he swears he's not going to go back to a bar, and he immediately walks down the street into one. And then he runs into two pimps and German Carrie Fisher, and she looks just like Carrie Fisher. And I was kind of engaged with the weird two pimps storyline and things like that in Berlin. Yeah. And I started looking up facts about the movie on my phone. It says that it was shot in Wisconsin. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. But then they actually go to America and they go to Wisconsin. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. And that's where the movie started to really lull for me, because it was just Germans in America. Haha.
Ich habe es mir in Amerika anders vorgestellt, dass ich durch Arbeit schnell reich wäre.
Jetzt hör halt schon auf, Bruno. Ich kann es jetzt wirklich nicht mehr hören.
Is that Herzog's fault or is that Wisconsin's fault?
Wisconsin's probably the most exciting thing happening in Wisconsin is that Red Letter Media is out there, the YouTube review channel, and they do this basically, but really well.
And you're in Wisconsin?
Yeah, yeah, they're right out of Milwaukee. But this is like some little like nothing podunk town in Wisconsin.
Yeah. So on that note, I think that Herzog picked that location because. I could be like totally off base with it. I know there's some nugget of truth in here, what I'm saying. That it had the most serial killers come out of that town. And so he was kind of obsessed with this town because it had at the time had produced the most serial killers.
That's why that scene's in there. There was literally a scene where like this nephew of one of the characters is driving them around, explaining to them like that how many killers there've been in the town. And that he's trying to get a metal detector and find a guy's tractor that went missing.
Sounds right.
Yeah, a whole little weird subplot, and that's where it starts going into like the little like kind of mind-numbingly just like, okay, I guess this is interesting, but like the weird little old man that they're friends with in Berlin that they come to America with, he's like testing the magnetism of dead animals versus humans, and he's talking to them in German and they can't understand him. It's just the little slice of life. It's just Bruno working on cars and Carrie Fisher working in a diner, and it's like, is this just gonna be one of those slice of life movies where it's just characters doing things? Because that's all Boyhood was.
I think it is a little bit, because I think it's supposed to be like the disillusionment of the American dream for like immigrants.
Right, and now seeing it as a whole, that where things start to really go south, and Carrie Fisher leaves him, and
you need to put an asterisk in here, not actual Carrie Fisher.
German Carrie Fisher.
Every time you say it,
looks very much like Carrie Fisher.
Yeah,
that when everything starts to kind of spiral out of control, you know, nice little setup of they're trying to live the American dream in the second act, I guess. They get a house, they get a nice TV, they get these things. And then they're struggling to pay bills. She leaves. She's starting to sell her body so that they can pay bills. Because she was a prostitute back in Berlin. Very important plot point. That's why there was the pimps. And I at one point I was kind of hoping the German pimps were just going to show up in America. I was really hoping for that, and it never happened.
Yeah.
They just show up and like.
Well, that's in the sequel. Stroszek 2.
Yeah.
The Squeakquel.
Which takes place in L.A. Stroszek versus Predator.
Stroszek 2, A Tale of Two Kitties. Stroszek 2, Red, White, and Blonde. Stroszek 2, Armed and Fabulous.
I'm gonna be sitting there trying to like edit little posters of these to pop up in front of your face, and you're giving me like way too many.
Stroszek 2, God's Not Dead.
Stroszek 3, God is Dead. The Nietzsche version. He was also German, right? Nietzsche.
Is that a SoundCloud rapper? Can you edit out me laughing at my own jokes?
I can just edit your face over mine laughing at your jokes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last 15 or 20 minutes of Stroszek is where it really captivated me, because that was like some David Lynch shit. And I kind of thought this before, but now I'm convinced that David Lynch and Werner Herzog are just two sides of the same coin. They really, in my mind, they are, because like just he's got the truck spinning. There's the Native American dude sitting there in the headdress.
I wish I could remember the quote from the end of it. Something about there's a man on the lift and the chicken. I don't know. There's like a famous the quote at the end of it.
21 to 53, we'll have a 1080. I hear a truck on fire. We'll have a man on the lift. We're unable to find the switch to turn the lift off. Can't stop the dancing chicken. You send us an electrician out here. We'll be standing by. Over.
Like
right, it's so bizarre. He says these bizarre turn of events, and he is himself a very bizarre man. You know, I mean, back in Berlin, he would sit in courtyards and play accordion and glockenspiel like he was Weird Al Yankovic or something.
Who, Bruno or Werner Herzog?
I can't tell anymore. You know, the artist cannot be separated from the art. I don't know what's real. It's visually striking. He's just at the end of his rope. He leaves a car burning in a parking lot across the street, and he activates all these stupid dancing animal attractions, and that's just how the movie ends, with the dancing animals.
Yeah, I think it's just one of the best movie endings, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that really just, like, really saved it for me, because, like I said, in the second act, I was like, okay, I am watching this for Zach right now. Like, I want to turn this shit off. Yeah. There's this one scene I vividly remember where I had to, like, go back and rewind it. I was so bored I was tuning out, because it just holds on this shot of this frozen lake, and it just feels like nothing's happening. And I mean, again, I was very hungover when I watched it, so probably bad mindset.
Yeah. I need to get my phone at some point, because I took notes while I was watching Predator.
Oh, okay.
Because I wanted to remember what I was thinking.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it running. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
All right, cool. You want to leave it running, or should... Yeah, leave it running?
Mm-hmm. It'll be way easier for me to match up the takes. True.
Yeah, I totally forgot that I taken notes.
Predator 2. He's in town with a few days to kill.
So, first I want to know, what are your feelings about Predator 2?
So, I'll tell you my feelings about Predator.
No, I want to know
the first one with Arnold.
Are you going to get to Predator 2?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think that the first Predator... I'm one of those people who actually thinks that's like a legitimately good movie.
Okay.
There's something about it that I think is very clever. It's kind of hard. It has campy moments, you know, get to the chopper, you know, that kind of crap. But
yeah,
there's moments in it that are a little more clever and thought out and paced well.
You son of a bitch.
This one just doubles down on the goofy parts.
Yeah. So, okay.
Right down to the Gary Busey.
He's on safari. Lions. Tigers. The bears. Oh my.
First, before I watch it, I did my research before I watched it. This Predator sequel, the script was completed in 3 weeks. And I fucking believe that. Because, first of all, it all sounds like it was, like, written by, like, an 8-year-old who had, like, watched too many, like, 90s action movies.
Well, this is 80s.
I know.
Or maybe it's the start of the 90s.
No, it's 80s. It's 80s.
But the big craze back then, you got to remember, was just to take, if a movie was successful, they would just take it and do the same thing, but in a different location.
Yeah, so
and then water it down.
The original writers, like, pitched 6 different ideas, and this was the one they chose. They're like, what if the Predator was in an urban jungle?
L.A.
Yeah, okay. So,
You know, I've never been to L.A., but if it's anything like this movie, holy shit, I can't wait to go.
As bad as things are, they're about to get worse.
So, that's the other thing, is it's like, so it's a dystopian future. It's 1997.
I forgot.
Los Angeles, 1997. It's the hottest summer on record. Pollution is choking the city. The gangs control the streets.
It's the dystopian future of 1997, and the Colombian gang is at war with the Jamaican, and this is Jamaican Voodoo Posse is the name of the Jamaican gang.
Hell yeah.
It's basically cocaine versus marijuana.
Wow. There really is no contest.
In one part, one of the Colombian drug lords, after they've done some, like, a lot of shooting, and I love that you picked this for me, because first of all, I just, like, action is my least favorite genre of movie. I get so bored when people are shooting at each other. I just don't care. I just want to find out who dies. You know what I mean? It's just like, you're just delaying me finding out who dies. But at one point, one of the Colombian drug members, like, in between shooting people, literally grabs a fistful of cocaine and just goes, ah! Like, I don't think they understood, like, which is weird because it's the 80s and they were in the film industry. I don't think they understand how to do cocaine.
Yeah. Maybe the people making the movie don't.
At one, the lines are so bad. At one point, someone just yells, "What the fuck is going on?" And I could not agree more. Another one of the notes I wrote down was lots of yelling, which there was. I haven't seen that many other Danny Glover movies, but I'm convinced that, like, he's not a good actor and he just yells, because that's all he did for this entire movie was just yell.
You never saw him in the Lethal Weapon movies? That's his bread and butter.
This is Predator 2 is a Lethal Weapon movie.
What?
There's several cast members from Lethal Weapon.
Okay, yes. Yeah, okay. Gary Busey.
So basically, this was a break between... I think this is a break between Lethal Weapon 2 and Lethal Weapon 3. Uh-huh. This was basically Lethal Weapon 2.5 versus Predator.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, if Mel Gibson had been on the set of Predator 2, things might have gone a little differently, okay?
Maybe.
You look like a on heat, and if you get raped by a pack, it'll be your fault. Alright? Because you provoked it. You are provocatively dressed all the time with your fake boobs you feel you have to show off in tight outfits and tight pants and stuff. You see your from behind.
At one point, here's one of the actual. This is verbatim one of the lines that Danny Glover delivers. He says, "Which means you're cutting off my dick and shoving it up my ass."
That's pretty badass, not gonna
lie. Bill Paxton is in it, and he's just like a horrible, like, sexist, gross person. At one point, he delivers the line, "God damn, is that bitch on the rag or what?" That's Bill Paxton. Here's another line I wrote down. What the fuck happened? Shit. What the fuck happened? Shit.
Hey, that's a line delivered from someone at the end of their rope. Okay, Zach?
What the fuck happened? I think that was Danny Glover again. What the fuck happened? Shit!
Yeah, for all we know, that was an ad-lib. That's just how he talks.
But the whole...
Maybe he didn't even think the camera was rolling and he stubbed his toe.
The whole movie seemed ad-libbed. Like, it just seemed like, hey guys, just yell at each other. Just yell at each other. And then they told Bill Paxton to just be like... Bill Paxton looks and acts like Anthony Jeselnik the entire movie. You should go back and see it.
I mostly remember just Gary Busey in that movie.
Which is weird. He does not play a big part. I mean, Danny Glover yells at him a lot. That's mostly what he does.
I mean, but Gary Busey brings the intensity in the final act, I would say.
He just goes and gets killed. His death was like, it's so built up, it's so dissatisfying because it happens behind the hanging, like, cow corpses in the butcher shop. So you actually don't see what happens. You just know that he dies. It wasn't satisfying at all.
Maybe the film footage got ruined, or
it does seem like there was another camera, and like there must have been like a dog farting on that camera. So they were like, use the B-roll. Okay, so it seemed like the theme of this one was like the Predator had some kind of moral compass, but you couldn't really tell what that was, because like when it opens, the Predator kills all the Colombian gang members, but he won't kill the cops. But then later in the film, they're like, oh, it's because he had a gun. Like later, they're like, oh, the Predator's just killing people with guns. It really plays with this weird thing where it's like, it seems like the Predators have some, because like at one point, the Predator looks at the female cop and she's pregnant, and he like recognizes that she's pregnant and doesn't kill her. So there's this weird like Predator.
This was sort of established in the first movie, and in subsequent movies, it's a thing. The Predator, it's basically like white guys from America that go to Africa to shoot big game. Like he's that. He comes to Earth to shoot big game that can fight back. And if there's no sport in a kill, he just goes to somebody else. That does happen in the first movie. There's this one woman who's with all the beefy, hunky guys, and she doesn't have a gun, and it has her dead on and then just doesn't kill her. And Arnold puts together like, oh, it was no sport.
Okay.
And so that's a follow-up on that. And they actually do that again in the new one, in Prey.
Okay. I find that very confusing.
Really?
It definitely in Predator 2 was confusing. It was hard to follow. Because like at first you're like...
Oh, well, Predator 2 is not a well-written movie.
I could have told you that. You know it was written...
I think you opened with that.
Did you know it was written in 3 weeks? The Predator's wearing fishnets. I wanted to throw that in there.
I forgot about that.
It's like a fishnet.
I don't think it was doing that. I don't remember that from Predator 1. I'm just going to say that. I think they changed the costume up.
It had, and the other thing is it had this opportunity to end 20 minutes earlier than it did.
Yeah.
And then it goes in this weird sequence where the Predator, I'm sorry to gender the Predator. The Predator goes, like, escapes, like, gets back up, and then, at one point when its mask is removed, Danny Glover calls it pussy face.
Despite the fact that it has, like, horrible fangs and...
I think he says, your move, pussy face.
Wow.
But then, so, like, the Predator escapes, it goes into an old couple's bathroom, and Alex Trebek is heard in the background. So Alex Trebek's voice is a cameo in Predator 2. And it's like, it does some weird chemistry lab in their bathroom. Like, it mixes up some potion.
I forgot about this.
I'm not sure what happens, but it does some kind of chemistry experiment in this old lady's bathroom, and then it exits the bathroom, and Alex Trebek is on in the background, and then it goes down. The elevator in this apartment building goes to the, like, where the spaceship is for the Predator. Danny Glover goes down there, successfully kills the Predator, and then all the other Predators come out, and Danny Glover's like, who's next? And then they just fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next?
Which is even more confusing.
I think what was supposed to be is that they acknowledged that he killed one of theirs, and so they award him with that pistol. Which, by the way, that pistol shows back up in the new one, Prey.
Really? They wanted to call back Predator 2? They didn't want to just forget about it entirely? They were like, let's call that back.
They did a callback. So it's canon, baby. It's Nick Cannon. I'd say
one of Nick Cannon's babies.
I'd say after this, the next best one is called Predators, and it has like Adrian Brody, Danny Trejo.
Oh yeah, I wish you would have assigned that one.
Really?
Well, I mean,
at this point, it's probably too late, right? I can't just make you. I can't just
doing Predator movies. I thought about if you had never seen any of the God's Not Dead ones. I just wanted to keep assigning you God's Not Dead, God's Not Dead 2, God's Not Dead 3.
I haven't seen the third one. What do we do now?
I guess
So clearly, you very much enjoyed Predator 2.
I honestly didn't think I was gonna get through it. Like I was mad from the start. Like I was like, I went into it like being like, this could be, but it was everything. It was worse than I thought it would be, because it was just so dumb.
Okay, I'm gonna be. I think I've set like the bar very low, and now I know where to go like up from there. I'm still gonna send you like weird and semi shitty movies, but like they're gonna always be better than that.
Yeah,
okay.
That was the thing, is it wasn't bad enough to like. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't like funny bad. It was just like annoyingly bad. You know.
To me, it's funny bad, but but that's because I do kind of appreciate action movies in my own way and stuff like that. And
I hate action movies.
Okay. Okay.
So much. They bore me. It's weird.
You probably would have liked Predators more, which it's interesting because it's the only movie in the franchise to actually like dump. It takes a bunch of like mercenaries and killers and stuff, and it dumps them on like a foreign planet, and they find out that they've been dumped on this planet, so that the Predator can hunt them, and they have to navigate that, and so they're like way away from Earth. And
ooh, that sounds interesting. Yeah.
So wouldn't you have loved to see that movie?
That's after Predator 2.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
After Predator 2, nothing happened for a while, and then the Alien versus Predator movies happened.
And isn't there...
And I would never make you watch those.
Yeah. So how many Alien versus Predator are there?
2.
There's 2 of them?
Yeah.
So it's Alien versus Predator and Alien versus Predator versus Jason?
Versus Freddy versus Stroszek versus God's Not Dead 3.
Isn't there one that has Jason and Predator and an alien in it?
No.
No?
You're thinking of Freddy versus Jason, and you're thinking of Alien versus Predator, and you're just meshing them together.
They were all one. I thought it was...
So, like, in that grouping, like, who would you put on teams? Or are they all 4 battling, or like two of them?
That's why it's Alien versus Predator versus Jason.
It's just chaos.
And it's not...
They're just dying
it's
left and right.
It's not Friday the 13th Jason, it's Jason Statham.
Well, then we know who's going to win. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Okay, so I think next we should assign movies. I don't have one yet. I'll come up with one on the spot.
Okay.
Do you have one in mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Snake Eyes starring Nicolas Cage?
No, I haven't.
Snake Eyes starring Nicolas Cage. Also, I think this camera setup was a little... We should probably have done an establishing shot, because it looks like maybe you and I could be anywhere. Like we could be talking to each other.
Let's just pretend it's a video chat.
Yeah.
Do like a login. Whoop.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Like we really could be talking to each other from across the city right now.
Yeah. I mean, I can...
The lighting is sort of the same. Yeah. I was going to pivot the camera to you.
I'll be right. Hi, Mark.
This kind of works.
Yeah.
Scout, get up here.
Yeah.
Why don't you just fart on camera real quick?
Look here. Okay, so what do you like about Snake Eyes? Do you think it's good? Do you think Snake Eyes is good?
Oh, I think you're actually gonna like it or appreciate parts of it.
Okay. I thought of some for you, and then I forgot them. Have you seen the film Hall Pass?
No.
Yeah, have you not?
No.
Okay, watch Hall Pass.
Oh no!